Rip is the latest Netflix drop starring Ben Affleck and Matt Damon in this Heist-Like thriller where we follow a narcotics task force who gets tipped about a house stash carrying way more money than they initially thought. Bonds are tested, trust is broken as they try to find out who is behind the murder of one of their friends and who on the police force is dirty. Let me start off with you by saying that Rip is a movie that I was very interested in from the jump. I enjoy these kind of movies with like little mystery that takes you on a whodunit ride and have you constantly trying to guess who might be the bad guy. Not to mention the fact that this movie had actually a really good cast of people in here with Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, Teyana Taylor, Sasha Calle, and even Steven Yeun, who I think is an absolute phenomenal actor, by the way. By the end of the film, I actually was very satisfied and I walked away from the movie really liking it and having a really good time with it. Talking a little bit about the movie, man, this movie is a very cut and dry good cop versus bad cop. The motive is very clear and the suspicions are even clearer, but the movie does really well with its cast having really good chemistry, throwing out clues to keep you guessing on what's going on, and it sets some pretty high stakes with all of these friends who are starting to not trust each other, especially when they realize just how much money they're actually dealing with here. Really turns everything on its head, because once they do find out how much money is there, then the movie starts throwing out all of these problems that each person has that serves as a really good motive as to why any one of them could be dirty. And that was a lot of fun because honestly, any one of their situations makes millions and millions of dollars really tempting. And I think that the movie does a great job at getting right into it, with the cold open being the friend of this team that is being hunted down and killed. And right from the jump, the police are suspects. Interviews and all, the whole shebang. I really think that this movie just does a really good job with setting up its intentions, showing the stakes, and really creating these dramatic and drawn out moments that keep you guessing and wanting to know what exactly or who exactly is the one that's selling out. Now, a little bit of caution, because I do feel like if you are a person who is going into this movie thinking that it is as action-packed as I thought that it would be, you might be a little bit disappointed. I don't want to say that the movie is slow, because I feel that the suspense and the dramatic moments do a lot to create this kind of tension that keeps you invested into the movie, where it doesn't really feel slow or it doesn't feel like it's dragging on. But I mean, honestly, the first 3/4 of this movie is heavy dialogue and very tense moments for sure. But the action doesn't really happen until like the last 20, maybe 30 minutes of the movie. It ended up not being so much of an issue for me, mainly because the cast does a really great job with their dynamic really carrying the film. Mainly the conversations between Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. Even Steven Yeun's character, who is kind of the one with the most morals in this movie. But everything that was going on even beforehand was enough to keep me very interested in knowing what was going to happen, what was going on, and keeping me completely invested. And when the action did pop off, it meant something. The reveals of who these bad people are was so much more of a surprise to the audience than I think it was to the characters. So when things were finally revealed, it's not so suspenseful in the sense of wondering whether the bad guys will get away. You pretty much know that they're cooked. But you also know how much this means to the characters, because this has been something that has been festering up throughout the entire movie. Without giving too much away in spoilers, I will say that one of the reveals in this movie, it doesn't really hit as hard as the others. It does feel kind of random because someone who may be involved, you don't really get a lot of time with throughout the movie, so it doesn't hit you the way that I think they wanted it to, and it ends up kind of being whatever. But the other one is extremely effective, and you can probably guess it if you are really paying attention in the beginning of the movie, but I was just for the ride. So when that did happen, I was surprised. Overall, I think that this is a very fun heist-like movie that will keep you guessing, and it delivers a very satisfying ending. The movie does do this kind of a flashback thing at the very end to show you what was going on and the things that you probably had missed as part of its big reveal, and it is effective. It works really well, and the tone throughout this entire movie stays pretty serious. But if you do enjoy these cop heist type of movies, I think that it is worth it and a good movie to put on when you're relaxing inside because the weather is horrible outside. So when it comes to the Rip, that is where I'm going to leave it off to you guys. That is all I really have on it. Let me know if you did decide to watch this movie and what you thought about it and how much you liked it or didn't like it. As always, if you did stay into the end of this video, I really appreciate you. Make sure you hit that like and sub button too if you enjoyed the video and if you want to stay updated on future videos that come out. But as I do, man, y'all stay geeked. I'm out of here and be smooth.